Hi everyone. I'm Leandri. I'm a mom, a leader, and someone who believes growth starts long before a title does. And if anybody hears a toddler screaming in the background, it's bath time. So just a heads up on that. Okay. So just and that's the little screamer, just so you guys know. So in my career, I have worn a lot of hats across, but the one thing that has been consistent throughout is my love and my passion for people and processes. Um, I've managed a lot of teams across continents and projects, and in the one thing that has stood out in terms of learning and leadership was that the position is not necessarily the most important thing, but that the most important thing is the connection thereof. So if you've spent any time on TikTok or LinkedIn lately, you would have seen the shift too, especially with influencers like Mel Robbins, Jay Shetty, talking about talking more and more about the emotional awareness of empathy, the energy, as well as the authority thereof. So that's the space where I try to lead from majority of the time, trying not to perfection, still practicing, but the presence thereof. Okay. So let's take a moment with everybody being here. And the typical question that everybody tends to kind of ask is, if you think about the word leadership, how would you describe it in one word? Okay. But I like to be different. So when you think about leadership, what's the first emotion that comes to mind? So you're welcome to pop it into the comment section. Love to hear about everybody that's online joining us. No right or wrong at all. It's just sharing a bit of emotion as we work through the slides. Okay. So if we think about it, leadership starts with a feeling. Before we can manage anyone else, you have to lead yourself through the emotion, whether it's the fear, the doubt, the excitement, as well as responsibility. The big one that scares a lot of us is accountability. It's something that Simon Sinek talks about quite a bit. The idea that leadership isn't authority, it's a service. And Stephen Bartlett from Diary of a CEO often says people follow energy, not job titles. On TikTok, some creators like Dr. Julie Smith breaks down emotional regulation as a leadership skill because how we respond under pressure sets the tone for everyone around us. So the feeling you bring into a room, the calm, the curiosity, the courage, that's where leadership actually begins. So in this slide, I love this tree. Oh, with the whole motherhood and everything like that, we always like reflects back to the tree of life. So with this slide is a quick reminder of that leadership ripples outward. If you are chaotic inside, your team will feel that. If you are centered, they will mirror that. Influencers empathize on social media platforms. They emphasize quite a bit in terms of self-awareness and leadership is a superpower. It's what turns emotion into empathy and reflection into growth. I often start my day very early, and then I ask myself that question in terms of what is the energy that I want to leave behind today on my team? Because how you lead yourself, your boundaries, your self-talk, your calm would be your leadership brand. Your team would absorb your energy this week, today, and go onwards. So that's definitely something that you kind of need to reflect on a daily basis. So if you could ask yourself that question, knowing that this is the end of our day, what is the energy that you left behind at end of day, leaving the workspace today? So influence over authority. This is this shift where all the watching that we're all watching currently play out on social media. The leaders who go viral aren't the loudest, okay? And they're also not the most reluctable, okay? Where Simon Sinek's Leaders Eat Last book, as well as Adam Grant's Think Again, both remind us that the influence is built through humility and curiosity. LinkedIn creators like Dr. Marcus Collins talks about cultural leadership, the idea that people follow stories, not orders. Influence is about creating space for others to rise with you. So when you say we want to influence, it's not about the likes, it's about the legacy. So what do people feel when your name comes up in a room? That's another question to kind of reflect back on. So from self to your world, this is where it all kind of comes together and everything connects. Leadership doesn't stop with you, it flows outward. Remember the ripple effect. From self-awareness to how you show up for your team, to how that team shapes a community and how those communities eventually impact the world. It's always high. It's kind of like if you look back into, programs like Be Up Next. It's why I like programs like Be Up Next. It gives the team and it gives people the opportunity to have access to a movement that helps rising professionals develop confidence, purpose, as well as emotional intelligence. Because leadership does not wait for a title. It gives everybody the opportunity to have access to mentors, to experience leaders, and to actually tap into that knowledge and that ecosystem, if I can call it as such. And that's also, with platforms like LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, X, that show us today that leadership isn't about a position anymore. It's that ripple effect. It's that legacy that we are kind of like, sharing and the influence thereof. You share an insight and somebody else would kind of apply that. And before you know it, the energy you started has reached other people you've never met before. Just like with the Be Up Next program. I've been mentoring. I've been put in contact with an amazing young lady that I've mentored here. I would have never met on another platform at all. So true leadership doesn't travel in one direction. It circles back. The energy, care, and courage you put into others always turns back in a form of trust as well as transformation. Leadership isn't a waiting game. It's a choice. You just need to have the courage to kind of take that first step. You do not need a title. It's not a stage, and you also don't need a massive online following to do that. It's showing up that also matters. So whether you're leading a team, a family, or just yourself through that change, choose to be the transformation your world needs. Okay. Thank you so much.